I am going to be 100% honest when I say that this show, Room 104, is one of the best shows I have seen in years. I am freaking out. I absolutely love the premiere episode, and I really think that great things are to come each week. So let me give a shout out to Firkin, who suggested that I watch this. Usually HBO has really good programming. I really didn't look into what this was about because I like to be surprised with new shows and to, judge the show by the actual episode instead of what someone reviewed it before, it premiered or told me the synopsis. I didn't want to know that. I just wanted to watch it with an open mind. Oh my God. Let me tell you, the entire time it was on, and it wasn't a long episode, I was freaking out. And I never get scared, but I was actually scared. I was kind of afraid to look at my TV a few times. I was so engaged. My heart was racing. I don't remember when a show made me that engaged the whole time. And I understand, these are short episodes, so it's hard to compare it to a show that's 45 minutes or longer because there are going to be some slow times. But there was zero downtime. I love the fact that each episode's standalone. Each episode's going to be different. But let's talk about episode 1. This is Ralphie. Okay, so there's been a lot of horror movies and shows dealing with a babysitter and an evil kid. Now, evil kids really creep me out. If you watch my channel, I told you clowns creep me out. There's a few things that really make me scared. Clowns in movies bother me. Creepy kids bother me. Have you ever seen the movie Damien? It's super old, but it's a devil kid, seriously, the devil in kid form. And I still have nightmares about Damien. So we have this kid who I just know is going to be the devil. I found it really weird that he wouldn't come out of the bathroom while his dad was there. So that was a red flag for me. Okay, secondly, when the woman said, "Hi, did you need to check my references to the dad?" And he was like, "Oh, no, I don't care." He was in a huge hurry. Another red flag. So this kid, Ralph, finally comes out. I'm wondering, is this an adult or is this a kid that looks like a monster or something? What's the deal? Why won't he come out? So he came out looking like a normal kid, okay? But he kept talking about Ralphie, which at first I'm does he have multiple personality disorder or what is up with that? I mean, honestly, I'm going to start doing live reactions to this show because I wanted you to know my thoughts in the real time. And I was surprised. I was not able to figure this out. I thought maybe, he had some multiple personalities, or he was always he was actually just an evil kid and this whole Ralph thing was his act. I mean, I felt like the dad was definitely in on it, and that's why he didn't give a crap about this woman's credentials. So when Ralphie comes out in the cape and everything, I'm terrified. He's saying I'm going to kill you and everything. I'm oh my God. So immediately I'm the babysitter's totally going to die at the end of this episode, which I was wrong again. And I was wrong about, what was going on with Ralph and Ralphie. Okay, so when he told her that he had, she asked about his mom, and he was let me, there's a story that we made up that we tell people, and there's the real story. So as soon as he said that, I was okay, so he killed his mom. I did figure that part out. And it was just so funny to me. He told the story that they made up, which was very gruesome and terrible, about her hanging herself. And then she was you have to go to bed. And then the scare moment when he just pops up beside her bed to tell her that Ralphie, aka him, you think, killed the mom. I was okay, of course, this babysitter is totally 100% dead. Okay, so when the kid tells her he wants to talk to her about something and that something ends up being sex, I'm just oh my God, this show is so crazy. This kid is probably 50 in a kid's body or something. I just can't take it. He's definitely Satan as a kid. Just crazy. So then when we had our second appearance of Ralphie, that was near the end of the episode, and I was freaking out. Now, first of all, when she knew Ralphie was going to come out for a second time, people always do stupid things in horror movies, but I would have tried to leave. I don't care that she's leaving this kid by himself because he's got serious issues, and she knew he was going to try to kill her. So I would have bolted. I mean, I know she was she finally called 911, but it was too late, and she was texting the dad, and the dad wasn't replying. So I would have left. Now, I was curious to see if she tried to leave, would the room have locked her in the room, wouldn't let her open the door, because I'm going to tell you what I really think is going on at the end of this video. So Ralphie comes out, he freaks out, he strangles Oh, wait a minute. I need to say that there ends up being twins. We have Ralphie and Ralph, because all along they led us to believe that Ralph was going in there and changing clothes and he had split personalities or whatever. So that was a surprise to me. Some of you probably caught that, but you know, also what I think we need to pay attention to here is that she started having like blurred vision. She felt dizzy when she saw the appearance of twins. She was blinking really hard, and I'll tell you why I think that was happening in just a little bit. So anyway, Ralphie comes out, he attacks Ralph, strangles him, kills him. Then he goes for the babysitter, you know, bloodies her nose, everything. And I knew the dad was getting ready to come home when she flips him over and she's strangling him. So as soon as the dad gets there, we see that she had strangled and killed Ralph in his like sweet little pajamas, and there was no Ralphie, and she was like so confused, and he's like, oh my God, what have you done? But did you notice at the very end of the episode, the bathroom door slammed, and like who would have done that, because Ralph is dead. And, you know, unless there's a Ralphie. I don't know. I'm having chills just thinking about it. So here's what I think is going on with this show. Since every episode, it does feature different people and a different story, but it's going to be in the same room, room 104. So I feel like the room is basically demonic. And I think that things happen in the room that aren't real, okay? So I'm not really sure, since this is the first episode, but you know, if it's going to carry over into every episode, but I kind of feel like everything that happened in that scenario didn't really happen. Like, I think that was a real babysitter, that was a dad, and that was one boy, and I think everything that happened was like a hallucination for the people like visiting the room, like for this woman, and that none of the stuff actually really happened, but the room messed with her mind so much it led her to kill an innocent boy. Now that's how I took it, especially since she was having the vision issues and everything when she saw the twins, because there wasn't really twins. I think there was just one boy who never talked about sex, who never said that he killed his mom. Like, all of that stuff I think was completely fake, just because the premise of this show is room 104, same room every single time but different people, makes me think the room makes people do crazy things and bad crap is going to go down every week. And what's funny is that HBO tried to tell me that this was a comedy / drama, because I was wondering, like, is every episode, I knew every episode would be different, but I was wondering, like, are some actually going to be funny, or are some going to be, or is it straight horror? But if you've ever seen The Twilight Zone, I think this is a great comparison. And the only thing I have seen that I could compare to that since that ended, I actually used to watch there was a remake of it, maybe in the 90s, but I don't think I've ever seen the old school ones. But I remember some of the Twilight Zones weren't super gruesome. Most of them were scary, but I remember them being a couple, they were just kind of bizarre and weird, but like not like this episode. So I feel like they will go with that pattern and maybe have some that are dramas and maybe have some that have comedy. But I am freaking out because it's a little Black Mirror-esque too, because I think Black Mirror took inspiration from the Twilight Zone, but I'm a huge Black Mirror fan. But honestly, some people have compared this Room 104 to American Horror Story, and I fell in love with American Horror Story, like Murder House, when I first started watching it. But to be totally honest, and if you're offended, I'm really sorry, but every season to me of American Horror Story doesn't feel special, and I don't think it's as good as it was before. And to me, this show has started off like fabulously. But I would just encourage you guys to talk about it on social media. I don't know if there will be a second season, but literally the Facebook page is dead. Like, nobody's commenting. I've seen a few people say they didn't like it on the Facebook page. It had like 7 comments. So, like, you know, I can't find a Twitter for them, but they do have a Facebook page. I've been tweeting about them, and I've been retweeted by the director of the episode and like someone else who I think was involved, not in the episode, but involved somehow in making this episode. So, like, get the word out about this, because I definitely think the first season will air, but, you know, if it gets popular, we could have more seasons, because I feel like this is something television needed, and I'm so happy for it. And I want to know what you think about it. How did you interpret what happened in that room? And I really feel like we'll never truly find out what actually happened behind each episode, because they're all standalone, and I think that's kind of cool, actually, that we're not going to know. But what do you think is going on with Room 104? Also, when I was watching this, I was like, this is the perfect show to do reactions to, so I will be doing reactions to this show from now on, because I think I wish you could have seen my reaction last night, but I can't like redo it because it just would not be authentic because I know what happens. So, oh my god, I'm so excited. So if you're excited about this show, thumbs up this video and subscribe if you want to see more about this show, because I'm doing this entire season, plus every other show I do is kind of similar to this show. Horror, psychological thrillers, mysteries. Pretty much everything I do is kind of like that because that's kind of what I'm into. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I really appreciate all of your support and kind comments. I'll talk to you soon. Go watch this show if you haven't. Like, I know I've spoiled this for you if you just happen to watch and you haven't seen the episode, but every episode is going to be brand new, so you're not going to be spoiled in the future. So, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Kelly TV family. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with all I'm doing.